Hi friends, welcome to NZ Money Karma, where you can find freedom from the daily grind through budgeting, simple living and adventure. Welcome along. If you've joined me before, you will know my entire backstory. If you haven't joined me very many times, you might not know. And I've had a lot of new subscribers of late, so thanks so much for jumping on board. I really appreciate it if you're new or if you're returning. I go by the name NZ Money Karma because I believe what you give is what you get, and I'm trying to live a really good, healthy, productive, frugal, money-saving and ethical life here in Otautahi, Christchurch, New Zealand. And I do that with my husband and our 2 children, 1 dog and 5 chickens. So that's me in a nutshell. What I wanted to talk about today, though, was this idea that I have kind of heard circulating around a wee bit at the moment, and that is that hard work doesn't pay off. Apparently, about 70% of New Zealanders at the moment feel that hard work doesn't pay off, and I disagree. I think, though, it's just that it's different kind of work now. I think the world is in this transition phase, and that the work, the hard work that we have previously thought of is a wee bit different to what we currently have now. So I don't think it's the recipe for success is now go to school, go to university, get a job, stay in that job and retire. I don't think that's the secret sauce anymore. A huge amount of this belief, I think, is fueled by social media, where people are absolutely bombarded with pictures of fake rich, fake fun, fake prosperity. Like, it's all just so fake. Even if it's a real interaction or a real something, that is just a little tiny moment in time for that person. They still had maybe someone say a narky comment to them. Maybe they tripped up before they walked into the room for their 5th take of trying to, make the perfect entrance for their perfect reel. Like, it's all very fake. So please do not feel discouraged. Don't feel like you're not good enough or that you're not doing well enough because of fake social media. And I think when you're working in real life, which is what this video is all about, just my normal daily life, you're not going to see anything fake. So you're not going to see anything perfect either. I am not going to take a video of myself 5 times walking into my chicken coop just to try and get it perfect. This is just what it is. And I think examples of how that's changed, in recent years when there's this huge focus on fake prosperity, I guess is what it is. When I think back to being a child, so when I grew up, my best friend actually was probably one of the richest people in our town. I guess I didn't quite know that when I was a child, but I knew they had some money compared to what my family had, because she had a massive house. It was so huge. It had 8 bedrooms. It had a swimming pool. It had tennis courts. It had gardens. It had rumpus rooms. It had 8-car garages with, 8 cars in it. These were very different things from my house. I grew up in a 3-bedroom weatherboard ex-state house. It's probably maybe 90 to 100 square meters. It was very small. It was my mum and dad's. They were extremely proud of it. But we were clearly in different demographics as far as money went. But their wealth was quiet. It wasn't on show. Yeah, they had a big house. They had big cars, or lots of cars at least. But it wasn't kind of flashy. They were frugal, and so were we. When a school trip came up to go to Japan, we both went. The divide was still there, but the possibilities were abundant for both myself and my friend. So I do this channel to show my life in case there's something in it for you. There's no fake rich, fake fun, or fake prosperity. This is the truth, how we live, how we eat, how we play. And I hope this channel focuses more on what we have in common rather than our differences. I would hate to get to the point in New Zealand where a greenie can't be friends with a gnat. Surely we all agree on what's important and just have different ideas about how to get there. So for me, today is a bit of a decluttering day. Not only decluttering and tidying of my spaces, but also decluttering and tidying of my mind, making sure I'm only letting the good things in, making sure I am considered, either when I'm putting something in my body, when I'm putting something in my house, or when I'm putting something in my mind. I want to be careful with all those things because they can all weigh you down. Too many possessions to tidy, too many things can weigh you down. Too much information or too much negative information can weigh you down. I had this exact experience this morning. I went out to do a job and I had to go and see somebody in order to do that job. And I picked up the thing I was picking up, and then I had a little chit chat for only about 5 minutes. But I literally had all the energy, all the life. It felt like all the happiness sucked out of me. I jumped back into the car and I actually felt depressed. And that was a 5-minute interaction with just one person. So I would be very careful. It's not that I would never see that person again because they will come into, my circle every now and then. But now that I know that person's energy and what they have to say have that effect on me, I will definitely be more prepared. I'm very much an open book. I approach people very openly. And oh my goodness, out the life of me was sucked. And I left feeling that the world was a very grim place. And it's not. And I don't think it is. I think the world is essentially a good place. But the more negativity we spread, obviously the more negative it becomes, or seems at least. So I want to be really, really careful not to do that too much and pick my days, I guess. So what am I up to today? So I'm having a declutter. Our dining room space, we spend a lot of time in there. So it is not a dumping ground. I try to be really careful, but it is a space where a lot of things get put and left and then we walk away. So I want to make sure I'm sorting that out. I'm sorting out some dinner. I'm not actually home for dinner tonight. So I'm getting some brown lentils ready to make a pie. I'm doing just the normal jobs that I have to do every day. I do the washing, I do the washing, hanging out the washing, I sort out the chickens, I get myself ready for work, all those kinds of things. So I'm a busy mum. I'm by no means a trad wife. I have a career. I have, particular things I'd like to achieve as an individual outside of my family. But there is a lot of comfort I get from hanging at home, from doing the at-home jobs well. I do take a certain pride in that. And it's also a really great way to slow down because honestly, living in a fast-paced world, consuming tons and tons of online content, trying to do all the things, for me, has not been a recipe for success. For me to feel really happy, grounded, contented, I need to make sure I live in a comfortable space. How things look is really important to me. That might sound shallow, and not in the sense of, I feel like people have to dress a certain way, but I like to look around my living space and like it. I like to have it, I don't know if you'd say curated. I'm probably not that careful a person to curate things, but I like it to be clear of clutter. I like it to have a few little mementos, but not too many. I don't feel like I need to remember everything via a souvenir. I'm happy, to have my memories of things. I like to decorate with natural materials, but sometimes they can get dirty and messy. And in those busy weeks, it's easy to leave things behind and think, I'll do that later. Or I won't put that away properly where it belongs. I'll just pop it back there. That'll work. So for me to be, content and grounded, I need to be in nice spaces. I like to do some crafts. I'm knitting my husband some slippers at the moment, and we'll soon get them done. But I like to sit down and do them, not just in plain silence, but I like to listen to a podcast, or I might have YouTube running, that kind of thing. I quite often like to listen to things that are solutions to some of the problems that I see in the world. I don't really like listening to things that it's all like doom and gloom and, oh, this is terrible and that's terrible and, oh, well, we're all buggered. I don't like that. I like to hear, yeah, this is a problem. We can see that, because I like to be prepared. So I kind of like hearing what really smart people see as the problems. And then I like to know, okay, there's always something we can do. I like to be proactive and know what these other people think that might be. And I was listening to a podcast while and it was really, really good. It was between a guy called Patrick Jones and David Holmgren, who is the co-originator of permaculture. And I would say Patrick is maybe a little bit more glass half empty when it comes to the state of the world, and David is a more glass half full sort of a guy. So it was quite interesting listening to the two different takes. It was largely Patrick asking the questions and David answering them, and I really enjoy his take on things. And I think he's on the right track. I do believe what that man says, and how things play out, I don't really know. And he says to himself, I don't know either, because I thought many of the changes would have already happened, and they haven't. But I think they will, and I guess that's the main thing, is that I see the world a particular way, and I like to be proactive in managing the resources for my family to kind of be prepared for that. Hope that makes sense. Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at. I'm just living my life in Ōtautahi, Christchurch, New Zealand, as simply as I can, making mistakes as I go. Like I said, there's nothing fake here. I'm not going to curate my life to look good for social media. I just want to show a real life. And I think if we can show real lives, then we all grow closer together. And then we all go, oh, okay. The goal actually isn't having, a $5,000 handbag. That's fake rich. What really matters is having food, is having shelter, having skills to look after yourself. For me, that's where the real richness lies. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. If you have any comments, please drop them below. I love to hear from you. And I will catch you guys next week. Bye for now.